This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Crypto is like the financial system, but different. It doesn't care where you come from, what you look like, your credit score, or your outrageous food delivery habits. Crypto is finance for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Visit kraken.com/see what crypto can be to learn more. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures Inc. View PBI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
Hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podman, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Audible, Stitcher, Double Twist, and many others. Thank you once again for downloading and listening to the show and joining me once again today. It's a great pleasure. Nice sunny morning here, and it's very sunny in the XL Energy Center. Very sunny for the Minnesota Wild as we have swept the Arizona Coyotes 3-0. 3 games to review, all wins, which is fantastic. The Wild sweep Arizona. For some reason, I previewed Colorado last week, but of course I'll preview again because we got 2 games with them coming up. And, 2 games with Colorado, 2 games with Anaheim. 3 games to review, 4 games to preview. And, of course, catching up with prospects and conversation and such as all the prospects are getting into, like, college playoffs or certainly not playoffs right now for Iowa because that's in the regular season, but, like EuroLeague playoffs and such. So, ready to roll. And, of course, we got the fan interaction segment. Once again, thank you always, Derek Felska, for helping rounding up questions on Twitter. Hashtag BTWMN. BTWMN there. And we'll get to an ad here in a little bit. I'm going to kind of keep doing it on the fly for now. The Viget app. Download the Viget app. Referral code Paladinolive. Paladinolive. Again, we'll get to that in a moment. Arizona, a 4-0 victory for the Minnesota Wild on the 12th of March. Kirill Kaprizov gets his first hat trick. Might not have felt like the sexiest hat trick of all time, especially when No, I'm just kidding. The third goal was not an empty netter. That was Jonas Brodin. They put the goalie back in, and Kaprizov. Just the good news is he's shooting the puck more now. And the better news is just the chemistry with Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Zuccarello just continues to be fantastic. Matt Zuccarello still with more points than games played. He's just been insane for Minnesota over the course of time. And Kaapo Kahkonen getting a second shutout. I mean, Cam Talbot's been unbelievable as well. What a pleasure. What an absolute freaking pleasure. Talbot with a shutout, Kahkonen with a shutout. I mean, Arizona must just hate our guts. Arizona must hate us. You know why? Because, again, the Wild shut them out twice, and we swept them in the 3-game series, and the Minnesota Vikings signed Patrick Peterson as well from the Arizona Coyotes, Arizona Cardinals, pardon me. We'll talk about that on the Purple Mafia podcast in the next week or so, the free agency special podcast, which is coming up, and then continuing to move on with the draft a bit. The official draft preview show won't be until sometime in April. But, back to hockey, if humanly possible. It's just funny. And I know some of you might think Patrick Peterson's past his prime, and yeah, I'm sure he is, but it is what it is. This was one of those weird games where it felt like a trap game the whole time, and Aiden Hill, he stopped the Wild multiple times last year in trap games, and we got frustrated, as right when you think you're excited about things going forward with the Wild the last couple of years, and then you get the usual frustrating trap game. It seems like this team is just awake. I mean, you're going to lose games. You're going to lose games, but it seems to be when the Wild lose games, it's just a team played really well that night. It's not like the Wild kind of like sleptwalked through the game and were extremely frustrating. In this game, again, it felt like a trap game. It had that vibe, but then Kirill Kaprizov just kind of took over. And the second goal, a lot of people talking about that one, how he just kind of jumped on the ice, give me the puck, basically. Give me the puck. Let's go. Nick Bukestad kind of flipped it to him. Obviously nothing super fancy or anything. Kirill Kaprizov takes the puck, goes around the net, and just kind of waits patiently for the right time and the right place from, I guess as Judd Zulgad called it, the middle slot, and just released. And wow, that was absolutely nuts. The first goal kind of bounced off defenseman, but hey, it still counts. It still counts, and it's a good goal and all that, and that's why you shoot the puck. Put the puck on net. It's not like Kaprizov did anything wrong there. It's not really luck. It's, well, it is what it is. The defenseman did not properly stop the puck. He redirected it. So that's on Arizona there. Matt Zuccarello, another assist. That was the first goal of the game. And then Brodin got the empty netter, and Kaprizov finished it off with yet another kind of a redirect on the shot. Him and Matt Zuccarello, just seeing those two guys side by side in those celebrations when they're waiting for the other players to come over for the full, hug and celebrate and all that. It's an image we're going to see many years down the road, many years. Like at the beginning of Kirill Kaprizov's career, Matt Zuccarello was the veteran player that really, that really helped Kirill Kaprizov's goal scoring take off because of that incredible passing skill. And of course, Kirill Kaprizov is helping Matt Zuccarello with his incredible passing skills. But the good news is that Kaprizov is now shooting the puck more. We're there. We're getting there with Kirill Kaprizov already, where, again, he's not worried about stepping on other players' toes, like, oh, this isn't really my team. I should be setting other players up rather than just looking for my shot. And it gets to the point, go ahead and shoot, Kirill. And, of course, there have been many opportunities where Kirill Kaprizov did set players up really nicely, and it just ended up not being a goal. A good stop by the goaltender, or whatever the situation was. The shot was blocked or whatever it was. So obviously that's everywhere in hockey, where there are spectacular opportunities that just ended up not finishing. Like Zach Parise on Sunday, he was pretty good, and actually Tuesday he was really good as well. He's gotten better, but of course, again, he's been significantly better, but generally speaking, Zach Parise is not the Zach Parise of old. That's for sure. And again, I would never have really called him a full-on franchise player. Obviously, he had his 93 points with New Jersey. Then he had some kind of an injury, I believe a knee injury. And it seemed like he was never really that stud that he was with New Jersey after that. Those 80 and 90-point seasons disappeared forever for Zach Parise. I think a guy like Kirill Kaprizov, 80 and 90-point seasons are very much in play. I mean, Zuccarello, he might be an 80-point player, 70-point player at least, with, obviously his passing skills, and it's showing more and more how he really was not healthy last year. That puck off of his wrist or arm, basically, wrist, arm, whatever the heck, when he tried to block a shot with the Dallas Stars in his debut with the Stars, messed him up. It messed him up, and it must not have healed properly, something. And I know how a broken bone can hurt for a couple of years after the injury and all that, and it can mess you up. And a wrist in hockey, being able to direct your stick, it's just not going to be the same. And that's why Zuccarello last year just was not good. And now we're seeing how good he truly is. It's a crappy contract and all that, and no move clause. But I think the last thing you want to do is trade away Matt Zuccarello right now with the chemistry he has with Kirill Kaprizov. Why in God's name would you trade away Matt Zuccarello? 13 assists already as of the first game of the week. That's how good Matt Zuccarello has been. In a fairly short time here, he wound up with, he's at 19 points, just a single point behind Jordan Greenway, and only 6 points behind Kirill Kaprizov for the lead on the team. Matt Zuccarello playing at a spectacular pace, about a 90-point pace right now for the Minnesota Wild, 85, 90-point pace, something like that. He's just been beautiful. Minnesota Wild ended up winning 4-0, and Cam Talbot definitely responding nicely. He's been spectacular at home. Kaapo Kahkonen has been spectacular on the road, and generally speaking, he's just been downright outstanding with the 9 straight wins for Kaapo Kahkonen. And you're going to need both goalies if we're going to have a great season and possibly go on a massive playoff run. Some teams, obviously, you ride one goalie in the playoffs, but in a regular season, no matter what, you're going to need, a good, solid goaltender to go with your starter, or if it's a platoon, which this is turning into. I got no problem with the platoon idea. You don't want to overplay either goalie. We've seen it happen too many times, and that's why guys like Manny Fernandez and Dwayne Rolison lasted as long as they did, because they were a platoon. They were a platoon. You didn't have a situation where the guy was breaking down, this and that. Occasionally guys get hurt from freak injuries. Knock on wood. Let's pray that doesn't happen. Please, Lord. But, guys break down, they get tired. I mean, Devin Dubnyk obviously broke down. Nicholas Backstrom broke down. It was wonderful having Josh Harding, and then, of course, he wound up with multiple sclerosis, MS. That was depressing. He could have been the number one goalie for Minnesota. Some people out there thought he was just this sorry backup. Are you kidding? Josh Harding was awesome. When he started getting going, he was great. And then the MS took over. That was depressing. But the point is, we have two good goaltenders, and that's a fantastic problem to have because it's not a problem. It's a luxury, an absolute luxury for a team. Goaltenders are just, their value is insane. Right now, Kaapo Kahkonen, after this week, with getting his second shutout, goals against average just above 2, save percentage just under 93. Whew. Cam Talbot, after a couple of yucky games from returning from COVID and all that nonsense and injuries, this and that, 2.46 goals against average. He's recovered nicely after a couple of yucky games where he gave up 4 goals. Save percentage 91.6, and again, that shutout. Last Thursday, Voices versus the Arizona Coyotes. The Arizona Coyotes. And yep, I was been saying, Arizona must hate us right now. We took away Patrick Peterson, too, after we swept them. Insult to injury, whatever it is, injury to insult, however you want to call it. We took away, we took away Patrick Peterson, too. So, na boo-boo, I guess. No, I mean, at least Arizona has a nice young quarterback with a great future. Where the Vikings, it's debatable how you feel about the old Pizza Ranch guy. Nothing against Pizza Ranch, by the way. I would take them as an advertiser in a heartbeat. Phil Kessel would score early against Arizona on Sunday, and again, and there you go. Here's your trap game. We're in trouble now. Here comes the trap. The trap has been set, but, well, that would be it. Arizona would never score again. The Wild defense would stifle the Arizona Coyotes to only 22 shots on net. Cam Talbot would give up just 1 goal. What an awesome start to the week for him. And you're thinking, where's Kaapo Kahkonen? Well, Talbot got a shutout. What the hell? You can do that. You can play a guy a couple games in a row, and it's not going to kill anybody, so to speak. The Wild actually scored a power play in the game, and that was a gorgeous pass by Matt Dumba. It wasn't one of the situations you always think, oh yeah, Matt Dumba probably just put the puck on net. No, it was a beautiful pass where Kevin Fiala just had to basically redirect it into the net. Power play goal. Nice to see Dumba on the power play with Brodin, and those guys should be on the power play. Both of them should be on the power play. Both. Yeah, I mean, they can both get points, and they've been getting them that way. And obviously, and yeah, you're probably thinking, points on the power play? What are you talking about, Joey? It's the worst power play in NHL history. Yeah, well, as long as Ryan Suter isn't going to get most of the minutes on the power play, I'll feel a little bit better and feel there's a chance here. Kevin Fiala, 9 goals on the year with the power play goal, and even Victor Rask. What a fun little goal that was in the second period to actually tie the game up. That was beautiful. Kirill Kaprizov getting the puck over to Zuccarello, and they're just kind of fighting and battling. Zuccarello ends up getting it just to Rask, and Rask ends up finishing in a situation where he was just it was a greasy goal right up in front of the Aiden Hill there. 6th goal of the year. Or actually, this was Ranta, pardon me. I'm getting these guys mixed up with the 31-32 nonsense. This was Ranta. That was a nice goal for Rask. I mean, it's a greasy goal, and we'll take it any day of the week. But Nino showed a little bit of speed, which is rare on this play, getting loose, and Kevin Fiala setting him up. Fiala with a multi-point game, and even Parisi is getting the puck to Fiala at the beginning there. Those two guys working well together, and the Lions continue to shuffle a bit. But this was a solid group. I don't know what Fiala's doing with Bonino and Parisi. That's my one complaint, but hey, at least he got 2 points in the game. I don't know. I don't know what Fiala's doing with Bonino and Parisi, though. I mean, maybe Eck and Greenway. Maybe even put him with, maybe even go crazy and put him with Zuccarello and, okay, never mind. You can't really mix that group up because who would play center? Yeah, Zuccarello. No, Zuccarello's a winger. But I don't know if you want to take Zuccarello away from Kaprizov at this point. So, but at least have Fiala with maybe Eck and Greenway, I think is a better mix than Parisi and Bonino, but at least those guys got a point at the end of the day. All 3 of them did, so good for them. Joel Eriksson Ekman got an empty netter that never actually went in the net because it was technically what would have been a penalty shot. He was tripped on an empty net opportunity. So penalty shot with no goalie, well, it's a goal, so they gave it to him, of course. That's the rule. 4-1 Minnesota, Wild win. Eck matching his, he didn't match anything. He got his 11th goal, though, at the end of the day, and good for him. Very nice. Wild are 3rd in the league in goals against, only 64 on the year. 14th in goals for, which feels kind of low. Power play is still dead last, but at least it's at 8% now. It's out of the 7s. It's in the 8s. Progress. Penalty kill, third in the National Hockey League. Third, 86.2. Penalty minutes, yeah, we're still frustrating with our penalties on occasion. 21st in the league. Of course, the higher penalty minutes, the lower, the crappier the rank, which is 21st. So we're in the bottom third of the National Hockey League at the end of the day. Nice 4-1 win for Minnesota, though. On Sunday, it felt good. It was nice. It always reeked like, oh boy, here's a trap game, now we're going to lose. And in the past, we might have, when the leadership was different and some of the other quote-unquote young stars were different. When the young stars were Coyle, Charlie Coyle, Mikhail Granlund, guys like that. And of course, Parise and Suter were the full-on, leaders of the team at the time. Guys like that. I think the Wild lose a game like this in the past. Nice to see Ryan Hartman back up skating again and playing with the Wild again. Really, really cool to see him out there. Man, he was great with Parise, and I forget who he was with at the time. Foligno. That's what messed things up. And now Luke Johnson is the fourth line center, really throwing things out of whack. It's a big crying shame to have Marcus Foligno hurt during the course of time. Of course, he was hurt in the first game there, the 4-0 win for Minnesota. A puck off the skate, probably a crack in his foot somewhere, and that freaking sucks because his value is insane. So it doesn't help. That's why the lines are messed up and shuffled and all stuff like that. I mean, Ryan Hartman, what a gorgeous third line it was. Ryan Hartman, Parise, and Foligno. Hopefully Foligno comes back soon from this injury. They're trying to see at least a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. I mean, he couldn't put any pressure on his foot, so probably a break or a bad bruise. One thing or another. I mean, an injury is an injury. It's a bummer. It's a doggone bummer, but that's how it goes. That's the name of the game. I mean, Parise, how many pucks did he take off skates over the years and miss a few games, miss a few weeks, stuff like that? It's like, damn. 16th of March, Minnesota, another 3-0 win. Again, Arizona musters only one goal against Minnesota in 3 games. That's absolutely nuts. Spectacular goaltending for Minnesota and great, solid, strong defense. Kahkonen actually faced a good number of shots in this one, 31, but he stopped them all. Arizona would have a good number of chances in this game. Aiden Hill was, he was okay. He was okay. Wild would only muster 26 shots on net, but generally speaking. But Ryan Hartman, again, nice hustle on the play. That was fun. I was kind of surprised. And the angle on the shot, the angle with the camera and all that, where Greenway was able to, he put the puck on net, and the puck kind of rolled away. Hartman was able to release it and get it behind Aiden Hill. Pretty cool. Kevin Fiala managed to get the second assist. You got it like that. So it's nice to see Fiala getting some assists because he'd been really, had not been getting those for quite a while here. So a number of players kind of picking up some points in this one. At the end of the day, a number of players that have been starving for points, like Bonino, obviously Zuccarello's 5th goal only, right? But no, that's good though, considering 16 games and a spectacular number of assists that Zuccarello's mounted during the course of the season. He has just been unbelievable. Carson Soucy also can provide some offense. That's why I was saying Carson Soucy could be on the second power play unit. He can, because he's a good passer. He's a good passer and he's got a nice shot. I mean, just because he's a third pair defenseman doesn't mean he sucks. And he's been absolutely spectacular with Ian Cole. Ian Cole is like I've heard nothing bad about the guy. What an absolute awesome pickup. Again, it's like you figured, okay, Colorado, he helped Colorado maybe get some cap space, and maybe they could try to go after Fleury, which they were thinking about at the time when the trade took place over a month ago now. And, getting Greg Pattern versus Ian Cole. Cole's cap hit's a bit higher. But, my God, what a nice player. Everybody had heard of him. I mean, Ian Cole's a name. Pittsburgh, Colorado, guys like that, places like that. And he's a name. He's won multiple cups. And he's just been an absolute find for Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild have 6 defensemen that can play. And obviously, Brad Hunt can play, too. He can play. He's got a nice shot. But this 6 is the best 6 right now for Minnesota. There's just no question about it. Even though Brad Hunt's like the coolest guy ever and everybody loves him, and they should. What a beautiful pass, though. Carson Soucy just kind of dishing it off to Zuccarello with a nice release. You got to love what took place there. Spurgeon finally got his first goal of the season. It felt like eternity. It felt like absolutely eternity. There were a couple of instances where I swear Zuccarello and Kaprizov could have had multiple goals in the game. Luckily, they each wound up with a point, though, on that Zuccarello goal. But it could have been a multi-point game for both of those guys, obviously, on that line. It could have been fun, but it is what it is. The Wild still managed the 3 goals, and that's all they needed. They only needed 1, technically, which is funny. A minute 37 in the game. It was a pretty nice feeling there. But great to see Jared Spurgeon, again, just put the puck on net. And that one got past. It was a beautiful shot. Suter finally getting his 9th assist. He's got 0 goals on the year. Bonino only his 4th assist. But a nice shot by Jared Spurgeon. Created just wonderful, positive vibes of the Minnesota Wild right now. 18-8-1. We're second place behind the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been, it's been a nice month or so of hockey, man. It's been an absolutely beautiful month of hockey. A couple of frustrating games here and there, but generally speaking, it has been some beautiful hockey. Multiple shutouts now for the goalies, 3 of them in like 2 weeks here. It's just, you just feel like $1 million watching it. The Wild are 4 points officially behind the Vegas Golden Knights and have no games in hand versus the Golden Knights. St. Louis has played has played 2 more games than the Wild and are 4 points behind. Los Angeles, 7 points behind the Wild, which that's the playoff line right there. The Wild are 7 points into the playoffs versus Los Angeles, and of course Arizona was right behind Minnesota, and then boom, boom, boom. You saw what happened there. Massive gap created. Minnesota versus Arizona, 0 points for Arizona, and the Wild got all 6. So definitely a tough head-to-head matchup for Arizona during the course of time. And San Jose can't buy a win sometimes. I mean, they just can't buy a win versus the Vegas Golden Knights if they've been playing each other multiple times. Sharks led 3-1 last night, and Vegas came roaring back and wound up winning 5-4. It is what it is. It is what it is. Vegas just knows how to play. There's one team that can frustrate and beat Vegas, and it seems to be the Minnesota Wild right now. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an epic playoff series. It truly is, if that were to take place. Right now, Minnesota versus Colorado would be a first-round series, which could be absolutely fantastic. And that's will be the second segment. We'll talk about the Colorado Avalanche and how they are. Well, they're ever dangerous. They've won 4 games in a row. St. Louis has lost 5 in a row. St. Louis has lost 5 in a row. Crazy. Vancouver and Calgary. Wow, that's kind of a mess. Edmonton's kind of been picking it up lately. Blah blah blah. Man, it's the Central Division is ridiculous. Tampa 42 points, Florida 42 points, Carolina the 41, and then the Blackhawks 4th place. They'd make the playoffs right now, even without Jonathan Taves. But Patrick Kane is he's 3rd in the league in scoring, which is usually where he hangs out with the top guys. Obviously, Edmonton's got the 2 best scorers in the league, but not a whole lot after them other than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Not a whole lot going on in Edmonton other than those 2 super duper stars. Fun frickin' week. Wild end up sweeping the Arizona Coyotes. It was fun. You felt good, and we've created separation. And now the talk is, okay, we'll believe it when we see it when we play Colorado. Well, yeah, let's play Colorado. At least we beat Vegas 2 times recently. So we'll see. Yes, let's play Colorado. Let's. If we get swept, then, well, okay. I mean, I'm not overly confident. I don't think we're necessarily a cup contender yet, though some of those charts up there have the Wild as the 2nd best team in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup, 2nd most likely team to win the Cup, which sounds absolutely nuts. I believe the top team was Tampa, I believe, which sounds about right, I guess. I could be wrong here, but, well, we'll see what happens. We all know how that can go. But there is something different about this team. They're playing as a team. You don't have that selfish vibe that we had in the past. You don't have that soft vibe that we had in the past. You don't have the woe is me vibe that we had in the past. That seemed to just it was like a dark cloud over the franchise forever. Literally forever. I mean, even going back to 2004, I would say that's been a problem when Gaborik went from a young rising star to a guy who, I don't know, there was something different about him after that. There just was. After the contract dispute, the vibe was never the same with the Minnesota Wild since 2004, and it's been significantly better. And obviously the Parise Suter, you can go on forever about that. Maybe I'll write an article about it someday. I probably will. I should almost get started writing it and then have it ready when the time comes. Be it years from now. Tell you how I really feel, so to speak. I don't hate them at all. But there's just it just wasn't all right. And that's why Bill Guerin in the offseason said, something is rooted in the culture here, and we need to change it. Hello? I'm not, it's not just somebody being negative, being an ass. It's General Manager Bill Guerin saying it. I'm not just Mr. Negative who's not enjoying this or is enjoying this too much, this or that, one way or another, or who's like he's bandwagon fan, blah blah blah. Why are you dissing on Parise and Suter? They're like the gods of the franchise. I don't know about that. I mean, Bill Guerin didn't know about that either. Just listen back. Bill Guerin. You want to call me negative? Call Bill Guerin negative when you talk about Parise Suter. It is what it is. I appreciate the hard work by Parise. He had a nice scoring opportunity, but he didn't score in the most recent game. It is what it is. He had a takeaway one-on-one with Aiden Hill, but unable to finish. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to bash him. I appreciate the hard work. Suter, maybe I'll bash a little bit more sometimes, but he obviously is still a very talented guy. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. There's a vibe with him that isn't always good. It's just not always good. The Mike Modano Award winner for this episode, boy, I could go to any of them. Cam Talbot, Kahkonen, or Parise, or Kaprizov. Should I just go with the trifecta, the 3 wins and the 3 Modanos? I don't know. I mean, they were just so good. Cam Talbot's 2 great games. Kahkonen, another shutout. Great game by Kahkonen. He had some good scoring chances come his way, too. I mean, literally, 1 goal given up in 3 games. How do you not give it to the goalies? How do you not give it to Kaprizov with the vibe he brings to this team? And what a spectacular game he had with the hat trick. I'm going to have them all share it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the first ever triple Mike Modano Award. It's going to go to all 3 of those guys. James Shepard Memorial. I didn't really feel negative about anybody necessarily. Just, frustrations with the injuries, the bad luck off the skate, stuff like that. Maybe the puck off the skate, that type of thing. Super sad, super frustrating to see Foligno's injury take place. He's been having an unbelievable season. Hopefully he can come back soon and pick up right where he left off, just like Ryan Hartman did. Love what Ryan Hartman brings. He's been just great. He's going to be expensive in the offseason, I got a feeling. We'll see what happens there at the end of the day. With that, we'll take a quick break, and we got 4 games to preview, but only 2 teams get into the prospects. Also to wrap up that segment, and of course, fan interaction, segment number 3. We are back here on Brave the Wild. Segment number 2, we're going to preview some games and get to the prospects. But first, we want to hear from Viget. Viget, it's an application out there. I'm doing this on the fly right now because I still haven't created an ad. Just kind of been, it's been a busy schedule, this and that. And in some ways, it's better just to kind of do it on the fly, it seems like. At the end of the day, it just seems to feel better. But Viget, it's a sports application for sports betting, but not with real money, though. It's basically a competition to compete against your friends. And I'd like to kind of create some kind of a community with the Brave and Wild, Purple Mafia, Timberwolves Explosion Group, this and that. You bet games with play money, basically. It's play money. You get 2,500 chips, so to speak. And there's also a way to bet free coins and win real prizes. It's pretty damn cool. And now with March Madness coming up, you got the same thing going on there with picking the games with March Madness, going all the way, a bracket, this and that, or just individual games here and there, competing against your friends or trying to win, again, real prizes, this and that. It's a lot of fun, actually. It truly is. Really appreciate Matt and David for contacting me on this one. The Viget Sports Betting app, again, not with real money. Very important. You got to know that. It looks kind of like a Bitcoin look, but yeah, it's got a nice V with a Bitcoin look. Of course, again, it's not, I'll say for the 50th time, not real money, but it's a lot of fun to keep up with things. And of course, it's not about encouraging gambling, this and that. But definitely jump on board. When it asks for a referral, type in Paladinolive, just like you'll see, and I'll even put it in the show description. The Viget Sports app. Bet free coins, win real prizes. So, again, let's get to the previews. If humanly possible. Thought I had it up, and of course I don't. So, again, Colorado Avalanche. Oh, boy. Well, I think we have a good ideas on the Colorado Avalanche. The biggest threat in the Colorado Avalanche right now is it's Greg Pattern. No, 8 games, he's a -2. Okay, that's the end of that conversation. Eric Johnson's played in 4 games. All these defensemen that have... Dan Renouf. I thought it was Dion Phaneuf for a minute there. Okay, well, that's interesting. And Kale McCarr's missed a ton of games, which is unfortunate for them. I don't think that's helped their cause. I can't imagine Kale McCarr being out has helped their cause. They play tonight and Saturday night, March 18th, March 20th, Colorado Avalanche. McCarr must be healthy now because he's not on the injured list. He was last time that we played. No Kale McCarr, so it's going to be interesting. Kale McCarr back out there. Talking about another guy. When you're talking about Parisi, or I keep calling him Parisi now. Wow. Kaprizov and his incredible skating ability, what he does out there without the puck, with the puck. It is just insane. And then you get Kale McCarr, who is about as good a skater as I've ever seen. He could skate around anybody. It's crazy. So it's going to be cool to see those two guys on the ice at the same time. Philip Grubauer is an ever tough, ever outstanding goaltender. There's no question about it. It's been a bit of a back and forth. Could make for an awesome playoff series between these two teams. It's a tied series, and we had a postponed game, and it's rescheduled, this and that. I'm not sure if this is the one. Possibly. I think we already played the rescheduled one, and that was a 6-2 victory for Minnesota over Mr. Miska there. A 5-1 victory for Colorado early in the year, 4-3 win for Minnesota, 2-1 win for Colorado. Frustrating. And then a 6-2 demolition derby most recently. And it doesn't show the dates, which is annoying. So apologize for that. 4 games remain between these two clubs, so it might end up being a 4-4 tie for all we know. It's going to be a hell of a series, I think, between these two teams. Both clubs have been great. Wild have won 5 games in a row. Colorado has won 4 games in a row. Funny what happens when Kale McCarr comes back. 8-4 demolition derby. They destroyed Anaheim on the 16th most recently, did Colorado. 2-1 over Arizona. 2-0 versus the Los Angeles Kings. 4-1 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. And then again, the 8-4 demolition derby. Destruction derby against the Anaheim Mighty Clucks. The matchups, of course, power play 31st versus 13th in Colorado's case, 23%. That's pretty good. Number 2 power play in the league, penalty kill in the league, and against the number 3 penalty kill in the league. Wow, about 1% difference there. Penalty minutes, Colorado's been much more disciplined. Again, that's really good. Colorado and Minnesota tied with goals against and tied with goals for. Wow, we're evenly matched with the Colorado Avalanche. That's kind of funny in some ways. Obviously, their power play much better, and their penalty kill slightly better. Second in the league. Colorado has the makings to be a cup contender, and there's no question about that. But it's nice that we're kind of toe-to-toe with them, at least at this moment. And we'll see who's standing after this little 2-game ditty here coming up. It's going to be interesting, as an old friend used to say. It really is. It really is. Mikko Rantanen is the leading scorer. He's been the healthiest guy all season. 14 goals on the season, 30 points. Wow, what an awesome season for Mikko Rantanen. Nathan McKinnon's been racking up the assists. He's the top guy in that category. He's missed 4 games during the course of the season. McKinnon always misses a couple games, and so does Landeskog. Landeskog not having the spectacular season he was last year, but still very strong. And Brandon Saad, very solid, with 18 points, 10 of them goals. The former Blackhawk reject. No, I'm kidding. No, he's been good with Colorado, definitely. And he was okay with Chicago and all that. Philip Grubauer, though, 1.85 goals against average, 4 frickin' shutouts on the year. Hopefully Hunter Miska suits up for one of these two. Hopefully, because he's given up over 4 goals a game. In the games that Colorado's lost, it's been Hunter Miska in a lot of ways. It's funny, though. Gosh, he's been pulled so many times. That's too bad. I feel bad for him. We'll see if this Grubauer situation can come back to bite Colorado. It did last year when he got injured. That was unfortunate. He's a great goalie, though, man. He really is. Hard to believe he was a backup, but I guess they all were at the beginning. But he was a backup for a while there in Washington. Great signing by Colorado about a year and a half ago. No, 2 years ago now. 2.5 years ago after the Cup Championship for Washington. 4 shutouts. He's awesome. He's truly awesome. And you get Kale McCarr out there. That's why their power play is good. And the penalty kill, too. Because Kale McCarr is probably the best player on the Colorado Avalanche, as great as McKinnon truly is. 14 points in 15 games for Kale McCarr. He's just been sick. 7 power play assists. The only guy ahead of him is Samuel Girard. How about that? Samuel Girard. He's another center, second-line center for Colorado with 8 power play assists. Been great. Great job for him. What's going to happen in these 2 games? I'm kind of thinking split. I mean, when you look at Colorado, it's going to be 1-1. It's going to be 1-1. Maybe we lose the first game. Maybe we do. I got a feeling hopefully Grubauer isn't in both games, but they're probably going to want it. Luckily, we'll have a good goalie in regardless. If we go back to back, or have switched the two goalies up in these two games, and we probably will, especially depending on what happens in the first game. But I got a feeling it's going to be like a 4-3 loss, 5-3 empty net, something like that, or 3-2, 3-2, something like that, 4-2 empty net loss. Minnesota versus Colorado tonight. Most likely going to score for the Minnesota Wild is going to be Kevin Fiala. I have a feeling he's on the verge of going on a tear here, but I guess it depends on what line he's on too at times. It's been frustrating, but he's definitely been a positive the past few games here. He's even though the numbers haven't been spectacular for Fiala this year, you've seen evidence that he's absolutely on. He's absolutely on. Just hasn't had the puck luck, so to speak. And, of course, the lines have been kind of weird and such. I'd hate to see his star fade because it's all on Kirill Kaprizov, but maybe that's a way that Kevin Fiala could kind of creep up on people if everyone's only focusing on Kirill Kaprizov all the time. So that's the one thing. But Kevin Fiala will score, but the Wild will not win. I'm not going to say which goalie, but, okay, I'm going to say on Saturday night, Kaapo Kahkonen wins his 10th goal, or wins his 10th straight game and ties Devin Dubnyk for 10 wins in a row as a goaltender. Minnesota wins that one 4-1. Minnesota wins 4-1. Either be it Hunter Miska or the Wild just get to Grubauer one way or another. Maybe 2-1. It's going to be low scoring. 2-1 win for Minnesota. Kahkonen over Grubauer. Mano a mano. Kahkonen versus Grubauer. Victory for Minnesota. Most likely guy to score will be Kirill Kaprizov. He's going to have one of those spectacular moments when nobody's getting past Grubauer. Kirill Kaprizov breaks the ice, so to speak, and the Wild end up winning 2-1 versus the Colorado Avalanche. Now we get to play the Anaheim Ducks. Jonathan Gibson and all that good stuff. Oh boy, they certainly haven't been winning games, but Jonathan Gibson has had some good games against Minnesota this year. At least he did early on. Now his goals against average has really picked up despite 3 shutouts. One of them was against Minnesota, and a 1-goal game against Minnesota as well. They just stink in front of him, unfortunately. They're not scoring goals, and they're giving up goals. Kevin Shattenkirk has been getting the points, but, man, I don't know. Tampa Bay must have just moved on from him. 8 goals against most recently versus the Lanch. But then they recently beat the LA Kings. That's their most recent win. 5 games ago. They've lost 4 in a row since. 6-5 win. Wow. Anaheim scored 6 goals in a game. But after that, not a whole lot. 5-1 loss to Los Angeles. 6-0 loss to the San Jose Sharks. I'm thinking that's Dubnyk. He must have gotten a shutout in there. Good for him. 3-1 loss to the San Jose Sharks. Back to back. Wow, 9-1 in just 2 games there. And then 8-4 demolition versus Colorado before St. Paddy's Day. Ricard Raquel, a lot of people again compared him in the past to compared Joel Eriksson Ek to him. And, well, Joel Eriksson Ek scored more goals than Ricard Raquel so far. And Ryan Getzlaf, man, he's just like a dead man walking at this point. It's kind of sad to see. Jacob Silverberg is just okay. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess in Anaheim. Like, nobody's scoring. Max Comtois has whatever you say it, 9 goals on the season. Adam Henrique, second on the team with only 7 goals. Boy, and there are times you thought the Wild can't score. Well, this team can't score. They're 29th in goals for and 29th in goals against. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Power play is 30th. Not a whole lot going. Penalty kill 22nd. Penalty minutes 14th. So, okay, at least they don't get a ton of penalty minutes. And that's about it. Multiple dead men walking on this team. Multiple dead men walking on this club. David Backes, 10 games, 2 goals. David Backes is still alive. He's on Anaheim. Ryan Getzlaf, it's just, there were the good days, but that was a long-ass time ago, man. Long time ago. It's sad to watch. It's sad to see. I'm not a fan of the Anaheim Ducks, so I don't personally feel too bad. The Wild need to win both of these games. We need to go 3-1. It's one thing if you lose to Colorado, which is possible, very possible that we split with Colorado, but we need to win both of these games, regardless who's in net. First game, I do think Kevin Fiala is going to have a really good week. I got a feeling he might end up being a Mike Modano Award winner. In one of these games, Kevin Fiala is going to have multiple goals. One of these games, he's going to have multiple goals. Joel Eriksson Ek is going to get a goal in one of these as well to help the Wild win. But those are the most likely guys to score. We'll say the first game, Kevin Fiala again, multiple goal game. Second game, Joel Eriksson-Ek. I think the Wild get the job done, though. Something along the likes of 5-2, 4-1, stuff like that. 3-1, maybe a lower scoring game. But the Wild end up winning the game. Maybe it's an empty netter. 3-1, maybe you have a frustrating kind of lower scoring game. But generally speaking, I think the Wild should just take care of business versus this club and sweep the Anaheim Ducks in this series. If we can sweep Arizona, who's actually not a bad team, we got to sweep Anaheim. We got to. Don't let the trap come in. Then we play the St. Louis Blues. So we'll talk about them for the first time next week on Thursday. And then San Jose again. We'll play the San Jose Sharks again for the first time in a little while. Donato and Dubnyk, who could not get it done versus Vegas last night, despite playing very well. Man, Dubnyk was very good, and then it just kind of caught up with him. It is what it is. It truly is what it is. With that, let's jump in and talk about the prospects. And as always, we'll start with my favorite guy, Brennan Mennel. Of course, again, loved writing the article about him a couple months back now. The mysteries and wonders of Brennan Mennel. Well, in 5 games so far for Minsk Dynamo, I think they're out. Yeah, I think they're out in the playoffs. He had 7 points in 5 games, though, 6 assists. Outstanding performance again. And this is the KHL. This is Major League Hockey over in Russia. It is real hockey here, folks. And the guy can play. He would dominate in the AHL at this point. The KHL is better than the AHL. There's just no reason why this guy shouldn't be on the verge of NHL hockey. It's just a gosh darn shame that he didn't get any points in the 5 games he played last season for Minnesota. Hope he can come back. And obviously, there's not an opening at the moment. That's just a fact. Unfortunately, you got Ian Cole and Mr. Susie playing well. Of course, you got Dumba and Brodin. And, well, Suter and Spurgeon, you can say what you want. The lack of production from those two has been a bit alarming, but Spurgeon finally scored a goal. That's really nice. It has been a little weird, though. It's been a little on the weird side that he hasn't been able to score. It's kind of sad. Alexei, I call him Alexei, Alexander Hovanov. How's he doing? Hovey. Still only 20 years of age. VHL, he also, just 5-game playoffs, so he's out as well. Just got the 1 assist there. KHL, they must have lost 4 games to 1 or something. VHL, that is Hovey's situation, so he's waiting to move on to his next season one way or another. Sign him with Minnesota. We need a center. Come on, Hovey. No, he didn't play well in the KHL. I don't know if he'd play well in the NHL. Of course, obviously the KHL is it's a proven league. I mean, it's pretty good. So the fact that Mennel is playing well is actually quite exciting, to say the least. Guskov, Matvey Guskov, 5th round pick in 2019. Boy, that's a cool uniform. I love it. Actually, really love his uniform there. MHL playoffs, only 4 games, but had 3 assists. So it is what it is there. 4 games, 3 assists for him. Again, he had 10 points in the 14 games in the MHL. He only got in 2 KHL games and 1 VHL game. Did not register a point. Bummer. Bugger, as they might say, or bugga, as they might say in Australia and New Zealand, possibly. Dalton Mennel. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Matthew Boldy, guys like that. Let's look at Iowa, if humanly possible. I'm almost tempted to go with I was almost tempted to go into the college ranks. Let's go with Iowa first. I think it's safe. Brandon DeHaan still just 4 games. Man, that's frustrating. He must be banged up. He had a solid year last year. A lot of people saw him as a possible NHLer. Iowa, again, they haven't been playing a whole lot of games, and when they do, it hasn't been that good. It is what it is. It's just not a good year for Iowa. And Louis Belpedio's hurt, and he's actually collecting an NHL salary right now. It's a grievance thing because the injury supposedly happened. I guess it happened while he was with Minnesota. It's frustrating. I don't know. Louis Belpedio, yep. So that was a grievance with from the Players Association, this and that. Adam Beckman has moved on to juniors. This and that. Gabriel Dumont, again, 12 points in 12 games. Kalen Addison, 8 points in 9 games. He's had multiple 3-assist performances. Connor DeWeer continues to be very solid. Mason Shaw in limited action. He's been kind of in, he's been out. He's been in, he's been out. This and that. It's just, he's been recovering forever, kind of back and forth. I can only imagine. But he's super productive when he plays. And he's kind of one of the higher penalty minute guys as well, which is kind of funny. I guess he's playing some kind of a role, the poor guy. But when he's good, he's good. I love Mason Shaw when he's on. Hunter Jones, I mean, he's getting the goals against average down, but he's still snake bit, unfortunately. Still getting the losses. He's got 5 losses now. But again, got the goals against average down, which is nice. Kind of reasonable performances, giving up 3 or 4 goals versus a lot more. I'll just leave that there. Derek Barabo has not been playing either. They've just been kind of giving Hunter Jones an opportunity, I guess. He's leading the team in games played. Iowa's just not been so good, unfortunately. It's a crying shame. But sometimes circumstances leave you hanging like that, dangling, twisting in the wind. Ryan O'Rourke, 11 games, only 1 assist so far. Not sure he's ready for the AHL necessarily, even though he's definitely held his own, but offensively has not showed up. And it's just kind of a mess of a team. Will Biden, 4 assists, and that's it so far for him. 4 points for Dmitry Sokolov in 12 games, only 3 goals on the season. It's just been a collective yuck in Iowa. Outside of Kalen Addison and Connor DeWare, it's not been a good time. Not been a good time in Iowa. It's been a struggle. Again, obviously, it's been a mess, but it's a mess for everybody, though. I mean, everybody's going through the same restrictions, the same taxi squad situation. But the AHL is just not happy right now. I can't imagine they're feeling good about this whole situation. They're probably pissed off and depressed right now, and so are the players down there. I mean, it sucks, man. It sucks. I'm not definitely not laughing at anything right now. I'm not making fun of any of them. Nice to see Hunter Jones, though, at least getting the goals against average down. It's like putting a pitcher back out there, and he puts a couple zeros up, so to speak, in the innings. Ends up giving up 2 or 3 runs, 4 runs. It's a lot better than 11, or 9 or 8 or 6 or something. Again, not trying to be an ass. I promise. I'm not trying to be an ass. It's just that's the numbers were high. And I know it wasn't all his fault. Some of the crap in front of him wasn't working out. It just wasn't. It sucks. Feel for him, and I feel for others. Simon Johansson. Oh, man. Well, he's on loan from Mora IK. 12 points in the 14 games he's been out there. Very solid. In the SHL, he had only 4 points. That's old news. But now 12 points in 14 games, 11 assists. Very productive in the hockey. Yeah, we'll leave that as Hockey Allsvenskan. Hockey Allsvenskan. Not bad. That's kind of cool, actually. I kind of like that sound. Like Sven and Oli and all that. And you used to order the Sven, the nice big prime rib at Timber Lodge. I miss that so much. Oh, son of a bitch. Like nothing stays, does it? Everything good goes away, and mediocrity rules the world. It's just frustrating. I miss Timber Lodge. I miss Timber Lodge a lot, actually. SHL, our good friend, Philip Johansson, 11 points there in the SHL. Good for him, Swedish Hockey League, I'm sure. 6 goals, 5 assists, 6 goals. That's not bad in 44 games. And 12 penalty minutes. At the end of the day, no postseason showing up. But at least he's doing something, and good for him. Seriously, though, I'm saying that in all seriousness. It's nice to see some production. Look at Adam Beckman. What's going on with him? Has he started playing? No, he has not. So still nothing going on in the juniors. I don't understand all of that. But I suppose it's probably that COVID crap. It is what it is. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for this, wait for that. Nick Swaney, and of course the Gopher hockey team won the Big Ten championship just a couple days ago. That felt freaking awesome. Got to see that big, beautiful, gorgeous cup, and the Gophers holding it. We beat Wisconsin. Yes, that is awesome. I'm sure. I don't think Brandon Quast was happy. I believe he's a Wisconsinite, so he may not be happy. But I'm glad the Gophers were able to get the job done at the end of the day. And now the NCAA tournament. We'll see who we're playing moving forward. And yes, we. I'm not Minnesota Duluth. I'm not I'm not the Mankato Mavericks. I'm sure as bleep not North Dakota, and I'm not St. Cloud. I'm not even Bemidji State. I am a Golden Gopher, damn it, through and through. Nick Swaney, that's the end of his collegiate career as a regular season. In the regular season, we'll see how they fare in the NCAA tournament, where they post and all that. Where they're posted 27 points for Nick Swaney in only 27 games. Obviously, wonderful collegiate career. And we'll see him in Iowa very soon. I gotta think. Got to think so. Bryce Misley. Yeah, most of these are unofficial. Oh yeah, Bryce Misley, the tryout. Yeah, very cool. He's now on the tryout with the AHL. So he will suit up for the Iowa Wild. Bryce Misley. Good luck to him, and God bless. Hopefully it works out, Bryce. I truly mean that. That would be great to see. Lodny, obviously, he's the same thing. He's just never, I don't know, man. Lodny is a frustration. It'd be nice to see something happen. Sam Henches, already his junior year with St. Cloud State. I'll see how they fare in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, they've had a promising season. 16 points in 25 games for him. Damien Giroux, yep, again, and Boudreaux, they've been in Iowa, and it's not been anything super special. Unfortunately, Jack McBain, well, they're going to be a big factor in the NCAA tournament. Maybe we'll be facing off against them in the Frozen Four as we head forward, or before that. Who knows what the whole thing is going to turn out, but I got to think the Gophers are going to be a number one seed, and Boston College should be way up there as well. 19 points for Jack McBain in the 23 games he played for that club. Obviously, wonderful season for him. Philly Lindbergh, nice season, obviously, as well. Only 11 games, 1.59 goals against average, 6, 1, and 4 on the year. Save percentage just under 94%. Who might be the future backup for Kaapo Kahkonen, or future platoon for Kaapo Kahkonen. We'll have two Finnish goalies. I can envision that someday. I can see it. Philip Lindbergh and Kaapo Kahkonen are your goaltenders for your Minnesota Wild. Yep. I don't know. I'm just picturing it. Nikita Nesterenko again, also Boston College, 19 points in 23 games, 8 goals for him. Oh man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to keep up with these guys moving forward. It truly is. Marshall Waller in Boston College, 11 points, 22 games. Again, productive season. Awesome. We'll see how he fares moving forward. Left shot, and that could become a position of need, depending on what happens in Seattle and Carson Stussy and Ian Cole, or what the heck happens. Already talked about Guskov, Beckman, Jones. First off with Connecticut, he finally played about 2 weeks ago. Finally back healthy. We'll see what happens there. I'm not sure Connecticut's in the tournament, though. 12 points in 13 games. Crying shame. He missed a number of games out there. Very productive guy. Matthew Boldy, one of the top prospects in the system. 30 points in only 21 games. Wow. He is a stud prospect for Minnesota. 30 points in only 21 games. 10 of them goals. Plus 14 on the year. And we'll see you in the tournament, Mr. Matt Boldy. Stay healthy now. Stay healthy, please. Please stay healthy. I'm on my knees begging. Obviously, we had Marco Rossi with the heart situation, this and that. Kuznetsov with the shoulder. It is what it is. It freaking sucks, but what are you going to do? Kuznetsov, again, really hoping for that shoulder to come back, and he doesn't have any type of a curse hanging over him. But Mr. Secret, though, Mr. Rossi. Yep, boy, oh boy. Yep, Mr. Rossi. He did play, I swear, he played in one game for the Lions, looked like, and had a goal. That's kind of interesting. He's on loan there. Interesting situation with Marco Rossi, though, continuing to heal. Letting that heart muscle heal. He says he feels great. Kuznetsov, I don't even know why I'm clicking on him. Obviously, he had a shoulder injury, and he's out for months. Obviously, captain material, cool guy. Imagine him paired with Kirill Kaprizov for Kevin Fiala moving forward at some point. It would be beautiful. Oh, it just died on me. That sucks. Yep, that's convenient. I thought I just charged the damn thing, but the mouse just died on me. That's wonderful. Oh, well, at least we're getting to the end of this segment anyway. Damon Hunt and Pavel Novak, we're just kind of hoping for the best with them. Three points for... this thing is freezing on me. I apologize. 3 points for Hunt so far in the WHL. That's what I thought. So why isn't Beckman in the WHL? I'm kind of confused. He's the captain for that club. Really cool. For Moose Jaw is Damon Hunt. He's been actually pretty solid for them. 3 points in the 3 games. WHL. They are playing. So what's going on with Beckman? I don't know. Must have held on to him in Iowa too long or something. Hope he didn't get hurt. Pavel Novak in the Czech League. Obviously has tons of potential as well. No postseason. He had 6 points in the Czech Republic under 20. And that's like the international one. And the World Junior, that's different. So 6 points, generally speaking, in the International Junior League for the Czech Republic. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. We'll see what happens with him. And now he's supposedly going to WHL. See what happens with that. And he's also been on loan in the Czech leagues and such. 4 points in the Czech 2. That type of situation for him. So, that should wrap up the prospects. but definitely exciting. Matthew Boldy's the most exciting, to say the least. What an amazing season. 30 points for him. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if the Gophers play Boston College in the NCAA tournament. Could happen. With that said, we'll take a break and get to fan interaction right after this. Back on segment number 3. Time to get to fan interaction. Time to hear from you guys out there, which I love doing. At Brave the Wild. And to get in touch with the show to kind of keep things organized, hashtag BTWMN. BTWMN hashtag, of course. Jay Bushy will lead things off. GM Bill Guerin will have an interesting offseason trying to sign contract extensions with Kaprizov and Fiala. How long and how much for each? Oh boy! Well, Kaprizov, I gotta think it could be a 7-year. I don't think it's going to be I kept thinking there was going to be a bridge deal or something like that. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's going to be a bridge deal. It's going to be like 7 years and quite a bit. Up to, people are talking like $8 million a year. So it's pretty big bucks there, eh? Fiala could be like 7-ish, 7.5. I mean, or maybe it's going to be a situation where you sign them both for just a huge chunk of cash. But we're talking, 8 years per, so it could be like $56 million for Kaprizov, like $8 million, 7 years. So it's going to be something along those lines. I think so. About 50 some million for him, and a similar deal for Fiala, maybe slightly less, like 7.5 or something. It's going to be something. Maybe $7 million a year for Fiala. Maybe he'll be like 5. I think Fiala is going to be like 5 for 7, something like that. It'll still be a big chunk of change, maybe not as much. We'll see, though. If anything, he might demand more, or he'll go for like the shorter 3-year deal to try to get the really big bucks after that. In Fiala's case, they're both about the same age, so it's going to be real interesting. Fiala's will be shorter. I don't think it's going to be 7 years each, but maybe it will be just to keep things fair, and they'll both get about $8 million. It could be something along those lines, but I'm just imagining Fiala will be shorter term with a little less, just to kind of and let him really make the big bucks in the next one, depending on his play and such. But kind of depends on how the rest of the season goes, I suppose, with Fiala. But clearly, he's a franchise caliber winger. Thank you very much, Jay, for that. Love the question. Now I'm digging and digging and digging, just like always. And is this a current one, or is this? I believe this is a current one. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, this is current. I would hope. Do you think Matt Boldy will be signed after this season? After his season ends? I have a feeling that's a strong possibility. He's one of those. Yeah, he's one of those elite prospects. He probably won't stay for a junior year. So yes, I'll say yes. Now that I'm thinking, at first I was like, I could see him staying. No, he's a first-round pick. If he was a 4th-round pick or something like that, he might stick around another year. But he already is way above a point a game now. I think Boldy does sign at the end of the season. Yeah, I would say yes, because of that reason. I think he's mastered college. After a yucky start in his freshman year, playing in the bottom 6, and he just was kind of struggling. And then at the end of the year, he was like, okay, that's the guy the Wild drafted. And then this entire calendar year, pretty much, it's been like, okay, Matt, you're really good. He might be used as a chip in a trade, which we might end up being very disappointed about seeing him go, depending on who we get back. I don't think Bill Guerin's going to shoot from the hip and make a stupid trade and overspend for somebody. If he does spend a lot, it'll be on somebody fantastic at the end of the day. Hopefully Boldy will suit up for the Minnesota Wild, though, very soon. At least Iowa, maybe for a couple of games, see how things go. But who knows? Maybe Boldy will be a fascinating addition into the postseason, because obviously the NHL season is going to be a bit longer than it's been in the past. A bit later, not longer, but later than it's been in the past. Derek Felska says, former Minnesota Wild Curtis Gabriel. Well, yeah, I remember him, the guy who got in a big fight with Ryan Reeves. Yep, and was like all excited about it. And Ryan Reeves is just laughing at him. Curtis Gabriel apparently told retired NHLer John Scott he thinks he's one of the best enforcers in the league. Is that true? And does it really matter anymore this day and age in the NHL? Not so much. I mean, it's nice, but it's, it kind of is what it is. That is interesting. Yeah, he's on the Sharks now. He's been he's been bouncing around. He played, 22 games with the Devils a couple of years back. Yeah, but again, he got in that fight with Reeves and was all happy with himself. We'll see. I don't think it really does matter because, you look at what's happening with him. If he's the best enforcer in the league, and if it meant so much, he'd be playing in a lot more games. So, I don't think it means a whole lot. No. Good call there. Good call there, Derek. Absolutely. Curtis Gabriel. That is kind of funny, though. Yeah, he's a little bit happy with himself, isn't he? Ty Sandstrom. Welcome back, Ty. Welcome back. Why aren't the Wild just throwing out their natural lines on the power play instead of a designated power play unit? They have been so good at scoring 5-on-5. Maybe that's a keep it simple approach they could look at taking. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea because if it's been working, like Zuccarello and Kaprizov, why wouldn't you want them on the power play? I mean, who's more likely to generate offense than Zuccarello and Kaprizov? Who? Nobody, right? So really good call there, actually. I'd have Zuccarello on the power play with Kaprizov on the top power play unit. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But then, of course, not Studer or Spurgeon anymore. Those two guys shouldn't be on any power play unit right now. Penalty kill, go ahead. Power play unit should be Dumba and Brodin, and or even Soucy on the second power play unit. I think can handle it. I think he can. But Dumba Brodin should be your defenseman on the power play. Absolutely. I think they're great together, and I think they can generate offense. They've been doing better than Spurgeon and Suter offensively. And, of course, again, like we would be saying, Zuccarello and Kaprizov. I don't know if you'd want Rask on the power play. That's the one thing where maybe you'd mess around. Rask on the power play. But, hey, if it works, it works. Otherwise, Drew Eriksson maybe could center that power play. Something like that until there's a better option. But nice call. Nice call, Ty. Here we go. Derek says, Buffalo's Ralph Krager, was the latest coaching casualty. Might as well be Kruger. Freddy Krueger, right? Oh, God. The latest coaching casualty when he was fired on Wednesday morning. What can be done to fix the Buffalo Sabres? Will Jack Eichel still be on the team next year? Is he a player that would fit in with the Minnesota Wild? He would fit in, but he'd be extremely expensive. It sounds like they want like the farm for him. And yeah, he would fit in. I have a feeling he's going to be on his way out. There's a strong possibility there, unless Buffalo's just like, no, I mean, we got to build around this guy if we're ever going to get out of this funk. It certainly hasn't been working. I feel bad for guys like Eric Stahl, but Eric Stahl, he was too slow. Like last year, he was a top-line center the last couple of years by default. He would get points because of who he was playing on a line with, like Fiala. He was good with Fiala, don't get me wrong, but Fiala was the reason he was getting his assists and all that, and occasionally some points too, because Fiala would bring defenders away, keep the defense honest, so to speak. I don't know. This is Jack Eichel on the Wild. That would be great. It would be absolutely great. But yeah, I mean that's probably bye Boldy or Rossi or both. Dumba would they want Dumba included in it? It kind of is what it is. It wouldn't kill me to trade away Dumba, especially when you have high hopes of Kalen Addison who's doing very well in the AHL level right out of the gate. There was just no waiting. He's ready. He's ready to be a professional player, at least at the AHL level, if not NHL level, in Kalen Addison's case. So again, trading away Dumba won't kill me. It'll free up a spot for Kalen Addison or Brendan Mennel, who both need to get in the NHL. I think they're both NHL ready, especially Brendan Mennel absolutely has got to be. I mean, he's been in the minor league forever, major minor league. It's time for him to get in the NHL, I think, Brendan Mennel. It's time for his crack. And if it's not in Minnesota, it is what it is. Someone would have to get traded, though, and that's the tough part. Or he'd have to play in an offside. Maybe he gets, Soucy gets lost to Seattle, and that would not be the happiest day of our lives here if Soucy gets lost to Seattle. The only good news is, again, you got tons of defensemen, but some people might have to play on the offside. It'd be a complicated situation bringing in Jack Eichel. It depends on just how much you have to give up. But yes, he would fit. Yes, he would fit. He would be great to have. It's just the expense. That's my fear. What can be done to fix the Sabres? Boy, I mean, they need a Bill Guerin type of general manager. Honestly, they need somebody who can come in there and say it's not working and we need to change it, literally, and does the right thing. They need somebody like that to fix the Sabres. At the end of the day, it's been a mess for a long time. I love their uniforms, classic, beautiful uniforms, and I still remember some of the wonderful players they've had over the years, like the LaFontaines and such, over the years. But it's been a crying shame how disappointing they've been. Derek was saying, got your question on the mind and all that, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me out there with that, Derek. Always appreciate it. Crease and Assist, by the way. Crease and Assist is his article on the Sports Daily. Crease and Assist, Minnesota Wild post-game, pre-game conversations. His wife, Teresa Ferries, as well. Conversations. Good writers, both of them, really good writers. They do a great job. Absolutely awesome job writing about the Wild stories, or of course beat writing, this and that, because obviously game by game is beat writing. It's awesome stuff. Derek continues, says, despite the team's winning ways, the team's power play is about as exciting as a plain rice cake. What can be done to fix it? What combinations would you try if you were Dean Evison? I think I'd go with what Ty Sandstrom said there a bit earlier. Try to go with some of the natural lines. Of course, you'd have to change the center because I don't think Rask is power play material. But Zuccarello and Kaprizov together, I think that's a must. It's an absolute must having them together. But maybe even Rask. I'd even try. As crazy as it sounds, with how effective he's been, Ryan Hartman on the second power play unit as the center. Maybe even Ryan Hartman is centering Kaprizov and Zuccarello. It can be done. Something like that. Ryan Hartman centering Kaprizov and Zuccarello. Something along those lines. Something's got to work, and I think that can. Ryan Hartman's been quite a find for Minnesota at the center position, which a lot of us were not expecting. So, as weird as that might sound, I do appreciate Tom Hayen. Thank you so much for sharing and all that, sharing the show. Really appreciate you, Tom. Really appreciate you sharing the show. I hope to hear from you again when you have time. Derek Felska continuing saying about, getting people's attention to jump on the show. Justin Bakke, welcome back from the Sound the Foghorn podcast. Pardon me, he's a big prospect guy. I think there's some more conversation coming up, too, in a bit. He says, what do you make of the Parise situation? He becomes a healthy scratch. Another game he doesn't play the last half of the third period, and last night he plays just shy of only 11 minutes. I make of as what Judge Zulgad would say. He's kind of cooked. He can't keep up anymore, and that was kind of the talk the last couple of years, even that he's just kind of slow, and he's just slow now. Unfortunately, he's had so many injuries. He's been so banged up. He had the back problem, this and that. I mean, who knows if that's starting to bother him again. And when he got healthy, he was better and all that. He was good, but he still looked like a middle six player when he was at his best. Even after his back got better and he was scoring all those goals about 2 years ago now. It was fun to see. But clearly, he was the kind of guy, he'll score, but he's like a second, third line kind of guy. He's not a top guy in any way anymore, unfortunately. That's kind of my take on that, unfortunately. I do believe there's a few more interactions here. There's the Teresa Ferries preview. Yep, pretty cool. I just MN Soda 24 in her case for Twitter. Give that a follow. And Derek is at Crease and Assist, just like cease and desist. Yep, pretty cool. Parisi situation. Here we go. Jay Bushy. Nope, I read that one. Ralph Kruger, Jay Bushy, Matt Boldy. I swear there was something. There was a couple more Justin Bakke ones in here. I don't know where they went. And I know there was an interaction with someone else, too. Here we go. Black Space Gaming says, how to score versus Dubnyk, shoot over his shoulders. I was saying I don't miss Dubnyk because he's just, been frustrated. He was frustrating the last couple of years he was here. Isha from the Soda Pod, obviously great show as well. They had Judd Zulgad on. Dang, that's pretty cool. He was responding to me about something. Obviously I said something about Dubnyk. I want to get the whole thing here if I can. I was saying I don't miss Devin Dubnyk at all, just saying. Isha, again, the host of the Alpha Dog of the Soda Pod from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, says he is playing great in San Jose. Glad to see him bounce back. Not his fault. The team is subpar. His performance versus Vegas was outstanding. Yeah, and it was good again last night as well. He's been good. It's just there's something about Dubnyk that bothered me. in case Isha's listening, something about Dubnyk bothered me the last couple of years. It seemed like he was throwing teammates under the bus at times after games, and every time anything went wrong, he'd make a big scene. I don't know. There's something about him that bothered me the last couple of years. Obviously, he had fantastic skill, and we had some great runs with him. And those 10 games in a row were fantastic and all that. And Black Space Gaming was saying, Oric Backstrom. Just a Black Space Gaming take. Yep, he doesn't miss Backstrom either, Nicholas Backstrom. I don't know. I mean, he had too many faults. There was just, he had too many weaknesses, Backstrom, especially in the shootout. It was like he could not stop a shootout shot for his life. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Luckily, the Wild haven't been in too many shootouts. In fact, I don't think we've gotten to any shootouts this year. I don't think we have. We just lost in overtime and won in overtime this year. That's kind of funny. I don't think we've gotten to the shootout. Well, keep scoring in overtime and pray we don't get scored on in overtime. Shootouts can be quite frustrating. Oh. And Derek also was saying, yep, there it is. For your information, Bryce Misley was signed by the Iowa Wild on an amateur tryout contract. Yep, so Bryce Misley is on the Wild. And this was funny. Yep, Tom Haynes shared one where, Bruce Boudreau was going off on the, I love that. Ray's like, don't just say you want it, go out and effing want it. And he said the whole word, of course. But you don't look like you want it. You look like you're feeling sorry for yourselves. And nobody wants a bunch of guys who feel sorry for themselves. We're only down by one bleeping shot. Surely we can get through this. I agree. I love that. Yeah, and obviously there was much more to that, actually real F words, not bleeping. But with that said, I'll now shut my mouth about that and wrap the show up here with the contact details and such. And also, if you could, write a positive rating for Brave the Wild on Apple Podcasts, Audible, which is possible, or Stitcher. Those of you that have, thank you so much, and God bless you. I appreciate it 1,000,000%. Really, really, really appreciate it, those of you that have done that. Otherwise, if you could, that'd be greatly appreciated if you would. Somebody else that hasn't yet. Also, again, you can get on the show via audio submission if you'd like. Simply use the free voice recording application on any device on the planet, smart device on the planet. Open it, press record, treat it like a phone call, hit stop, save it, and then share it or email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com, and then I will convert it into an MP3 file thanks to Zumzar.com. And I'll lead it off the fan interaction segment. You'll be right on the air with me, which would be freaking awesome. Keep it to about 5 minutes or so, unless the Wild win the Stanley Cup. Maybe you could go on and on and on, but hopefully keep it somewhat reasonable, even in that case. Major shout-outs to Minnesota Wild Global, Minnesota Wild Nation. Thank you so much. Minnesota Wild Global, you got Scott Cavendish, Chance Kostick, David Kostick, Chad Walski, Kathy Main, Michael Fick, awesome people. David Abraham, just awesome people out there. And, of course, Patrick Turner of Minnesota Wild Nation, along with some of the others I just mentioned. They're also on that page as well. Really, really great page. Great conversations. Thank you so much for allowing me to share Brave the Wild, links to Brave the Wild, at least on those pages. Can't thank you guys enough. Scott Cavendish and Patrick Turner allowing that to take place. You guys are awesome. Of course, MNW Prospects, Pavel Burnett, Merrick Skyba, if he still does it, but it's mostly Pavel Burnett, Justin Bakke, Brandon Quast, myself. Chad Walski helps out a bit. Again, the junior leagues have been invisible, so my days covering Quebec Major Junior Hockey League and British Columbia Hockey League are on hold for now until those things come back to life. Of course, the other guys, Pavel Burnett from the Czech Republic, he keeps up with the Euro Leagues, just does an awesome job. What a great job on Twitter and all that. And I'll share all that in the contact details like I always do. That's the Twitter account for MNW Prospects. Justin Bakke keeps up with the AHL. And Justin Bakke and Brandon Quast. I forget which one does what. I think Brandon Quast does the AHL, and Justin Bakke keeps up with college, but also they kind of share duties with that, the college players and the AHL and all that, and ECHL. Not that there's a whole lot going on with the ECHL right now, unfortunately. Hasn't been too exciting. The minor league system's not been pretty for Minnesota lately, but it could get real exciting with some of these great college players coming in. We'll see what happens, and maybe some Euros as well. With that, though, thank you always. God bless you guys. And, boy, hopefully the Wild can continue their winning ways and keep this going into the postseason rather than just have a little hot month or so. And then here come the playoffs. But I just don't sense this team is going to be like quitting on itself like it has in the past in the playoffs, where it's just like all of a sudden here come the playoffs, and then we can't score and this and that. I don't think that's going to happen. I got a different vibe with this club now, and it feels freaking awesome. Keep it up. That's all I got to say about that. With that, have a great week, and we'll talk to you about Colorado and Anaheim next week.